Hello, everyone. I'm back, and I hope you are with me and you had time to reflect on tip 4. I hope many of you are doing this in sequence, day 1, tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, tip 4, because these are building blocks for you to come up with greater clarity on the things that you want to build into your life for 2020. There's some introspection exercises which maybe take a little more time, but I just want to encourage you to be you and be comfortable with being you. So today's session is about values. Just going to pull up the slide and see how your values drive you. So if you can see that I've got this in an ocean with circles around it, because every time we want to keep in flow, it's our values that drive us to keep moving. And if there is disharmony within ourselves, sometimes it's a time to check on your values and whether your values are not aligned with where you're working, or your values are not aligned with what somebody has told you to do. So this is really an introspection of you. And your values can change. So values are values at any given time and at any given age. So if your values under 20 are based on getting a career and the type of careers that you want, and even what you want to do, you'll be looking at that. And your values can change as you go through your experiences in life. So it's really, when we do this exercise, I want you to look at what are the values that drive you today in this time in your life. My values are very different today than what they were 10 years ago. And that's because I am now, my core values have stayed the same, I would say, but my values on my time and the relationships I make with people have certainly changed over time, and as I've had more experience and moved through life. So, and I'm not saying that a 30-year-old could be much more experienced than me, but I'm saying that when we home in on the values that drive us, we know what's working for us and what's not working for us, as long as we give ourselves time to that introspection. It's, when I talked about emotional intelligence, it's really about knowing your body as well. When something doesn't feel right, you know that there's a signal, and it's good to home in on those emotions and ask what that trigger is about. So, emotions. How are you feeling right now on this course? How are you feeling as you've taken yourself through the steps? I hope you're floating and looking at the different pebbles. I hope that you are moving away from fear into hope. And I hope that you're having some insight into what you want the end of 2020 to look like for you, and how you want to be, what your behavior wants to be like, all the things that you want to work on, some of the habits that you may want to change. And some thoughts have been light bulbs in your mind. So just reflect how you're feeling. I just give you a little time to how you're feeling before we really home in on the values. And there could be some feeling words here that are not here. I would go into the internet and look at feeling words, and there are hundreds. Look at 100 and print it out and put it on a desk and ask yourself every day how you're feeling and acknowledge that little bubble in your body so that it can move and not get stuck. Okay, so we're doing an exercise to look into your values that are important to you. And we'll be looking at how do they link to your aspirations and how can they be aligned in 2020. All right, so let's just go through an exercise again. All right, so again, I'm just going to take you to a relaxed state before you do this exercise, just for a minute or two, and then you can go into this exercise. And this handout is available for download in the call to action button. You've got a link where you can download this. And if you can't, just email me at services@clariscoaching.com. Okay, be relaxed. Sit in a relaxed position and just take your mind into some deep breathing. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And be totally relaxed. And look at some of the things that are important for you at this time in your life. What is it that's important to you at this time in your life? And just think of them before you go through this value sheet. What is really important for you in 2020? What clarity do you want in 2020? And what are things that are priority for you in 2020? And it could be around your security needs. It could be around your emotional needs. If you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, good idea to take Maslow and download it from the internet and look at where this falls at this time of your life. And what are the priorities that drive you at this time of your life and the values that are important for you. Okay, and now turn to the screen and look at this worksheet and just reflect. And as you go down the list, write down which ones are important for you in 2020. Where are you at now? So this is not your core values that drive you. These are values that are important as priorities for you for 2020. And at the end of this webinar, go back to this list and circle them. Because a lot of these on this list could be about what you want to develop more on this year. For instance, if you're in a place where you want to work better with others, you may want to look at developing emotional intelligence and getting the best out of your relationships. If it's about financial gain, to build with security, you may want to look at business development. And if you're already in your business or in your career, we have a course coming up soon, which will be helping you focus as a leader or manager at work and also on your vision for your business in 2020. So just watch out for those. If you're on the emailing list, you will be given notification of those dates. And if you want to help society, maybe you want to take on more voluntary work and look at where to source that. So where are you at this time in your life? Just work down the list. Now notice how I take you through this exercise, not in a rush, but with calmness to think. Because if I gave you this exercise and just sent it to you by email and said, just do it, you wouldn't be as reflective and as calm as you are now when I'm working you through this. So this is what's important to do, is to do it in a calm way where you can totally reflect on where you are currently and what is important for you for 2020. Okay, so write them down on what's important to you in your worksheet, and do this more after this webinar. And I want you now, as an exercise for yourself, is to link this to what your aspirations were yesterday. For homework, look at what you're doing now, link it to what your aspirations were yesterday, and see if there's some congruence. And as you look at them both, tomorrow we will be putting our purpose statement together on what is it that you want to build for 2020 and how that can be like a part of a vision board that you want to put together for 2020 to help you focus and build your own action plan towards it. So that's what we're going to look at tomorrow. But before you do tomorrow's exercise, I want you to look back on your aspirations and also look back on your uniqueness and how it's linked to your values. All right, so you're going to look at those 3 exercises together and how it's linked to your values. Again, I want you to look at the poll. Any questions that you have, please send them to clariscoaching.com, and please go through the exercises through the poll so that I can have an idea of where you are at currently. And although these are automated, I'm going to be looking at these every day just to make sure that we've hit the right buttons for you. See you tomorrow.